Hello everyone and welcome back. So today we're talking about Monster on Netflix. Briefly, the premise of the film: a 17-year-old film student from Harlem sees his world turned upside down when he's charged with murder. The film stars pretty much everyone. Like, it feels claustrophobic at times. You have John David Washington, Jeffrey Wright, Jennifer Hudson, A$AP Rocky, and the list just goes on and on. But ultimately, this is a character study about a young man in fear of losing everything that he has. And the best part of this movie is Kelvin Harris Jr. He puts on a brilliant performance as Steve Harmon. And this is based on a young adult novel. And at times it really does feel like, it does feel like a young adult novel, like the aesthetic, the musical choices. And at times it throws you off, but by the end of the film you realize you really are in the mind of a 17-year-old boy. And in that case, I really appreciated it. It turns an otherwise kind of conventional court drama and turns it on its head. And it does this by, again, narrating this entire movie through the eyes of Steve Harmon. And the question is, do you believe him? So who is Steve Harmon? He is a young man with extremely high potential. He's a film student. And he is, the world is his documentary. He goes around filming things, documenting things, asking people what they like, what they don't like. And his dream is to become a filmmaker. And I do like that half the movie is the trial and the other half is seeing his life before this horrific incident, because you see that he was just at the start. And there's nothing sadder than unrealized potential, right? Like, so many young men, like, this is a very, unfortunately, common storyline. And so just as he's beginning to figure out his life, what he wants to do, his vantage point, it could very well be taken away. And so his central struggle is trying to figure out his perspective. And that's how he gets seduced by A$AP Rocky's character. And A$AP Rocky's character was a good contrast to him. And again, here's an opportunity for Steve to find that special, unique perspective, to capture something that nobody else has seen. And that's what A$AP Rocky offers. And I do like that he's a film student, because there's a lot of irony here, because here he is capturing people, filming people, always watching people. And he's totally naive in terms of how the world sees him. There's a bunch of supporting characters. Some work, some don't work. Again, like, the movie feels claustrophobic at times because you have so many people that maybe didn't need to be in the movie. What worked was Jennifer Hudson and Jeffrey Wright. I like the contrast between them as one parent who is more optimistic than the other. And their performances were very strong. Again, you have very good supporting character actors. And I do like A$AP Rocky. He's a vibe, he's an energy. He has a certain aura and charisma I think he brings to the screen. And he livened up the movie, in my opinion. So I will give him that. What I didn't like was John David Washington. He was unnecessary. Like, you kind of blink and then you miss him. And because it's such an undeveloped character, you're kind of looking at him like, what are you doing here? Like, it is almost comical. Like, there are scenes where you're just looking at him like, I think you are on the wrong set. And he eats it up, he does his best. And you'll know when you get to that scene where you're like, what are you, like, he goes hard, you know what I mean? And the script doesn't go as hard as he's going. So in the end, the film works. And what I got out of it is that sometimes life just creeps up on you and you don't realize how deep you are into something until you are arrested and wrongfully accused of something that you didn't do. And again, it's not a perspective that we see. His performance here was very strong. Did everything in the film work? No. It is a perfect Netflix movie. Like, you will watch it, you will enjoy it. Again, it has that young adult feel. So if you're wondering, like, because you're kind of, especially if you're familiar with other works, then you realize you're in the mind of a 17-year-old boy and you're like, okay, that makes sense. So overall, I say watch it. You'll enjoy yourself. And you guys let me know what you think, and until next time.